All right, everybody, and welcome to Mistake Monday. You got Brian and Randy coming at you today, and what we want to talk about. A lot of times, I will say on Mistake Monday, a lot of times we talk about mistakes that we have made, and hopefully you can learn from them and grow from them and stuff like that. The mistake that we're going to talk about today is hopefully something that we in our heads we feel like we don't do. Hopefully that is the case that people view this as this is a mistake that we make and stuff. But what it really is, it comes down to, and we wanted to talk about it because we see it happening. I think it's good just to, kind of a service announcement to kind of put that out there and just kind of everybody check yourself. And we just kind of went through our coaching call yesterday with our coaches. And, it's always something of like checking your core values and knowing who you are as a company and how you represent yourself and things. So I thought it'd just be a good one to talk about. But really what it comes down to is making the mistake of representing yourself as something you're not. So we're going to kind of approach this in two different ways today. I'm going to kind of talk about wholesalers doing this, and then Randy's going to kind of talk about cash buyers doing this, because if you are a wholesaler, you need to be aware of kind of cash buyers doing this as well. So we thought it'd be appropriate for this. So what that looks like, if you're a wholesaler, obviously don't represent yourself as something you're not. So don't tell buyers or don't tell motivated sellers if you're negotiating or you're looking at their house, thing like that. Don't tell them that you're the cash buyer. Don't do that. If you don't have the cash, if you're not going to be the legit buyer, don't tell them that. I see people get burnt like that all the time. I see people ruin their reputation like that all the time. And I see it stand in their way of them achieving their goal of what they really want to do. Your goal is, as a wholesaler, to get a property under contract, to connect it with your buyers. Your buyers are hungry for properties right now. You don't have to necessarily act like a huge cash buyer. If you have a chance to get a property under contract, you're going to be able to find a buyer for it right now. Now's a better time to do that, and like I think any other and stuff. So not representing yourself as something you're not. So if you're talking to a motivated seller, not telling them that you are the cash buyer, that you have the cash to close next week, if that's not the case. If you do, and you're still going to sign it and you have the cash, that's good. You can say that, to at least, be able to back that up and stuff like that. But I worry about that. It's something that like I said, I see wholesalers kind of have been burned by that before, or you ruin their reputation, have been taken to court before because of that, those kind of things. So just be careful of that. It's something I see. And then also just as wholesalers, don't go out there and, represent yourself as someone that can JV with people or partner with people or do all this and have promises that you don't know you can actually convert on or do. Just be careful of that. I know Ronnie and I did a Mistake Monday. It's I forget if it was before this or actually after this one, but just of working on those JV deals, making sure you know who you're working with. Same thing too. Don't represent yourself as somebody that you know you can't necessarily you can't do all 100% of the time, or know you can't convert if you can't do that. So Randy, when you're looking at it from the cash buyer standpoint, because I want the wholesalers to kind of realize of some things that maybe cash buyers would do in this case of representing themselves as somebody that are not, because if they're getting properties under contract with them, they need to be aware of this and need to consider this as well along with the offers.
Yeah, and it happens throughout the year, and it's always going to happen. But like one thing I guess I see on my end a lot is when someone comes off to me as someone who's a seasoned big cash buyer, or they've done like hundreds of transactions, and they give off the perception that they are someone who can close fast and has cash ready. And when we do, if I get into an agreement, sometimes with that person, what I'm expecting is like the agreement's written in cash, and then we get everything in the title, and then a week later, like, well, I am getting, I am getting a hard money loan on this, and it kind of comes out of left field, or some type of financing where there's a contingency there where they can't close as quick as I guess everyone assumes so or agreed to, and something gets pushed back a week. Um, I see that quite often, and I tell everyone this. When I first meet them, I'm like, hey, like we want to deal with all cash, but if you have to get any financing, just like let me know. Even if it's hard money, if it's private money, whatever it is, like if it's not coming from your bank account, just let me know, because that's gonna probably hold up. Sometimes it's gonna push back closing. Or on the flip side of that is if you're talking to someone who's really trying to push you, and kind of like maybe beat you down your price, because that they say that they are a big cash buyer, and then you find out that they've really only bought one or two properties ever. I know, and they're actually not a very experienced investor that you thought they were. So a lot of people just won't be honest up front with, I guess, how experienced or how deep their pockets are until you either get a deal with them or find out that they never really buy properties. And either is fine. It's just all about being upfront, because on my end, I try to be upfront as possible, so I expect it in return.
Yeah. So something to consider. So don't make that mistake. Don't, be that mistake, be aware of that mistake, of just make sure, you're representing yourself as somebody who you actually are, and be aware of that on the other side too, of make sure that people they are who they are representing if you are doing business with them. So something to consider, something to be careful of. Thanks a lot for this. Let us know if we can help you out in any way. And you can reach out to Randy at simplewholesaling.com or Brian at simplewholesaling.com. We're more than happy to help you guys out. And with that, take care. We'll see you guys next week on another Mistake Monday.